Um, so I guess but in the 2000s, then you're going around the bar thing. That's kind of like where we were with you, and then you have your company there, and then
Hmm.
in 2019, you're or 20, you're with end of the week or something there, and then what happens kind of in the middle? There seems to be a giant
My
patch.
God. Okay, important. In 2003, I graduated from college and I was working with a DJ prior to that. That's how I met Ox.
Mm.
Everybody thinks that I met Ox at EO Dub, and he and I met independent of it. And then came face to face after like 2 or 3 years at a party that Vice invited both of us to, and like recognized each other and then put it together and we're like, oh my God, we know each other. And um, I started working in commercial mortgage brokerage for a couple of years. And in that time, I ended up getting a really bad back injury and was on workers' comp. But the evening that I met Ox again through Vice, Vice was like, yo, this is perfect. Like my two good friends, like now the three of us are together. Shelly, come to Ox's house tomorrow. And like literally from that next day, for like 6 years, the three of us probably
Inseparable.
spent like 5 days a week together, minimum. I mean, like we were just always together. Like it was just, we were inseparable. And that created a whole new level, like a different experience with music. No one ever knew that I could write, and I shared that with them. And like Vice tried to like help me like rap and stuff, and like that took forever. I was always scared to, but then I would help him with his music and Ox with his stuff, and it was just always it was a very supportive relationship. It was dynamic, like being having those two guys by my side always, and laughing and having fun. It was something that like I talked about, like I've taken steps away from music at different points, and that was a time that like just it made things fun again, and it made
Ox
things
just
just
said from the comments, he said facts on
Wax and no
that
yeah,
whole
like
thing.
tax.
it was just super fun. Like there's a point where you're just like, I could be a fan. Like I don't really need to be involved. And during those times, it's like the universe reminds you that like, no, like this is where you're supposed to be. And I'm going to send you these people to remind you, because they're going to hold you down and they're going to tell you you're dope and they're going to tell you when you're not, but they're going to keep it real.
Hmm.
Mm.
And so for those years, it was just the three of us, and in the studio with them all the time. And I had spinal surgery, had to get over that. Like I had to spend a lot of time alone and away from people because I had to rehabilitate. And during that time, you kind of like watch the landscape of what's going on. And it's hard to kind of feel inspired when you're not in it, you know? Like I'm not
Yeah.
driven by the business and like that stuff. Like I love art and I love artists.
Hmm.
So when I came back out, I started doing an event with two friends of mine and invited somebody I knew at the time loosely, who was Jerobi from a tribe called Quest. He and I built a friendship, and then I helped him launch an event that he called Tribe Taco Tuesdays, and introduced them to my best friends, Vice and Ox, and then they all became best friends, and like things ended up expanding after that. I took a break again, went to Miami, did work in Miami at Basel. I booked some events at the Thompson Hotel. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like you think that you have to switch things up. If there's anything I've learned, like for me to stop telling a story right now, there's a time where you just have to like so trust your intuition and know that it's time to move to the right or move to the left. Like there was a point where I was like, I can't be in New York anymore. And I didn't know what it was. And it just didn't feel right. I was like, let me go to Florida. And it was the first time that I'd ever communed and built with sisters, with women. And it gave me a different perspective, and it allowed me to evolve as a woman around other women and in a different city that's a little bit slower and it's healthier. Um, and when I came back, there was kind of this renewed excitement and this new experience to build off of with new opportunities. You know, I think the worst thing to do is to stay in one place and expect to be inspired in a new way. I think that's very hard. I think that it's really important to kind of take chances and get uncomfortable and know when something isn't suiting you in the best way. Um, because I think that's how people get very soured by whatever industry they're in. They'll get over it, you know? And in reality, that's what they're supposed to do. That's their passion. That's their what they need to do. But because they didn't kind of let it flow, they force it too
Mm-hmm.
much. Like, you got to keep on going. Like, nah, sometimes you just have to observe. Sometimes you need to be a fan, a listener. Sometimes you got to try something else so that you could kind of recalibrate. And that's what I spent a lot of my life and like the late 2010s doing, is finding ways of recalibrating myself and listening to myself when I didn't want to be in a certain world. And then it just always brings me back, you know?
So how did you get more involved with the dub, like more formally?
So after Vice passed, I could not do the 24-hour Zoom thing that, you know, family was doing. And I really, for the people that it helped, I think it was great. But for me, I, I couldn't do it, you know? I'm not naturally gregarious, and I'm also not technologically like in like, I don't do it a lot. So like the Zoom, it was just bizarre to me. And I realized that it was uncomfortable for me to do anything dub related without Jason and without Ox. You know, I found myself, it wasn't only grieving the loss of my friend, but it was the loss of um the three of us, you know. And like, how do you wrap your head around that? So knowing that my energy wasn't right, like I would jump on and I'd be like, is somebody laughing at me? Like, and I was like, my energy is so wrong right now. And I know it's me. So let me step back. And like, I just wouldn't jump on these Zooms at all. And one day I saw a flyer and it was ladies night, Sarah Kana, Angel and Dama doing the open mic. And I was like, I got to support my girls.
Shouts out
I had
Sarah,
so much
Angel.
fun watching that show. I don't think I had smiled and laughed in so long. And just watching them have fun together, I was like, okay, I gotta like come back or something. And Bax, I heard him say, yo, this is the best show that we've done since we started on Zoom. And I was like, so okay, I saw something, but I've seen no other open mics. If he said it's the best, it must be the best. I called Nunzio, I called Van, I called Sarah, Angel, Dom, and I was like, when are you guys gonna do this next ladies night? It should be regular. You guys should have it once a month. And they were like, you do it. They had like 50 shows a week. You know, the last thing they wanted to hear is like, let's brand a new show. So at that point, the girls were like, yo, if you just do everything, we'll show up, and like, depending on who's available. And I think I did it because I wanted to do it. Like, I thought it was fun. And we just started doing that once the first Sunday of the month. And I was like, let's call it Ladies First, as a nod to the Queen Latifah track. And I started doing that. And after a couple of months, they asked me if I would just start booking all the shows, all the open mics, and helping with that. So I did that. And then as things kind of got tighter within, you know, the dub, I don't know what to call it, like the people that make all these things happen.
That's a
They,
great question. What do you call the
you know, like
dub people?
yeah, The
You guys
Illuminati.
sound like conspiracy theorists right
Well,
now.
it's like,
You
is
know
it a
that?
council? Are they
Both
a
sound
management
insane.
team?
There's no
Are they
council.
just like a
No.
collective?
Yeah,
But
I
like,
just feel
what's
I
like
don't
the
know
so
what to
the
call
weird
tier
them.
is? The people who go to
that
that meeting.
you guys look at it like that.
Yeah,
And
so I became one of
it's just
those
like a couple
people.
people. We know them. We know all of the
Yeah,
people and
I
shit.
know
Like
them, but
it's not even like
but
it's like
what's
some
their
secret
like? But
society.
what's the
You know
group
who it is.
called? I get it. I get it.
You
It's
know, it's just
no,
like all
it's
of a sudden I'm at these Monday
the
meetings.
foundation. We should call them. You know what I mean? Because that's what
Oh,
it is, pretty much.
and it
Mm,
just turned into me, um, when I was asked to do that, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more than just put bodies on a screen, and that's booking. I really wanted to help create a curation and programming that I thought would benefit everyone.
mm.
And that's what we started doing. And, we launched the residency last month. And it's the first time that EO Dub has had residents, and it's been successful. And I
I
love the artists that
I'm
we
not even gonna
chose.
lie. I have no idea what you're talking about with the residency.
Okay, so the residency is a quarter long programming schedule. So we used to have the open mic, and since Frio Dub started, I realized that people were pulling up to Frio Dub regularly. The hosting was great with Sosa's beats. Things were phenomenal, but I didn't see the same interaction and engagement on Sunday nights for the open mic. And I just didn't think that it translated from the live space into a virtual space. Um,
Yeah, it's super weird to
so,
perform your songs on a Zoom. Freestyling on a Zoom's easy, but your songs on a Zoom's kind of a weird vibe.
Yeah,
especially
super weird
especially for
vibe.
an open mic, like I think it worked when we were all in lockdown and you're like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. When you're like, I
No, but
need
even then,
this.
like
Like,
with
I just
Zoom,
need
you would
some.
have like latency issues. I remember the last time I did it with the dub, like, yo, it fucked me up. My performance was whack because like the beat fucked me up, and it was like everything was off, and it's like there's never a
well,
solution.
we fixed that with sound checks and stuff, but you can't sound check a bunch of open micers is the
Right.
point. So we
Mhm.
came up as a team with this idea and plan to have these residents. And basically, what I had thought of is that one Sunday I had booked this young artist, Lil Boo. And when I introduced Kendra to her, Kendra asked me real quick, she was like, "How old is she?" I was like, 22. And she was like, "Wow, this is our third, she's part of the third generation of EO Dub now." And that really stuck in my head. I was like, holy shit. We are about
Yeah. How many years
20,
is it?
21.
21.
So this is the first
Yeah.
year of
A
our
new
third
generation.
generation of reach. So what are we going to do now? So I started thinking, okay, we're multi-generational, we're international. How do we, expand on that? And then when the whole Lupe and Royce thing happened and Osiris put out his song, shortly thereafter, Intel from Second Generation Woo chimed in and did a song called Underdog. And then I was like, oh, guess who else is intergenerational and international? Wu-Tang. I was like, I got to get Wu-Tang down with the dub. And I hit up Intel, and he and I started talking. And at that point, I really didn't know what was going to come of that. But slowly, I realized that to make the Sunday night show good, we had to have sound checks. And this was already figured out before, like, this wasn't my idea. C Dub, the other folks, after months and months, had realized that there's just certain due diligence that had to be done in order to ensure a clear show, or as clear as possible, like you mentioned, no latencies and, the details that are required for a pleasurable performance. So I figured it would be dope to have residents to come and bring their friends on Sunday. So basically, we give them a platform and a slot, and the promo and the support that they need, you take that time and share it with your collaborators and your friends and the people that you think are super dope. Because every single one of us has our homeboy that has 30,000 followers. That's good. That's dope. But we also have our friend that has 800 followers, but is making fire music and nobody knows.
Facts.
So if I'm dope enough to be engaged by EO Dub and say, you're going to be one of my first residents, now I'm going to bring my homeboy that nobody's heard, but everybody in my neighborhood knows about. He works his ass off. He's dope. Let me share this with them. So that's how that happened. It started off with Intel. That's like really where that whole thought process came from, is to really try to emphasize End of the Week as a multi-generational and international organization, and to maximize, you know, the partnerships and the help that, you know, we were engaging with these artists. So you know, so far I feel like it's been really exciting to watch take off, and I suggest you watch, Holden. It's archived on the YouTube.
I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Yeah, we have Nejma Nefertiti, Intel from Second Generation Wu, and Double AB, who's an amazing MC who toured with Cannibal Ox for years. He's also, you know, he has a graphic novel. He conceptualized this idea of lyric vision. So he made a graphic novel, and all the words, like the story, are verbatim a song. So each song is a graphic novel in itself, and the graphic novel comes with a QR code on the back.
That's too hot.
Pretty fucking cool.
And that makes it a sale, no? Woof! That's hot. That's hot.